Sometimes, peace does not come from having an easy life. Sometimes peace comes after you have survived too much pain, after too many disappointments, after too many nights of overthinking, after too many people misunderstood your heart, after too many times you gave more than you received. At first, pain makes you confused. It makes you question yourself. It makes you wonder why things happen that way. It makes your heart feel heavy. But slowly, something changes. You stop begging for answers. You stop fighting for people to understand. You stop chasing what keeps hurting you. And one day, pain becomes the beginning of peace. The first reason peace comes after pain is because too much pain changes people. It changes how they think. It changes what they accept. It changes what they tolerate. It changes who they trust. It changes how they see love, friendship, and loyalty. Pain can make a person quieter. It can make them more careful. It can make them more observant. It can make them stop giving access to everyone. This does not mean they became cold. It means they learned. They learned that not every smile is safe. They learned that not every promise is real. And they learned that protecting their heart is not selfish. The second reason is that they stop reacting to everything. Before the pain, they may have explained too much. They may have cried over every small change. They may have tried to fix every misunderstanding. They may have chased every person who pulled away. But after too much pain, they become tired of reacting. They no longer give every situation their energy. They no longer answer every insult. They no longer explain themselves to people committed to misunderstanding them. They no longer let every small thing destroy their peace. This is not weakness. This is emotional maturity. They choose calm over chaos. They choose distance over drama. They choose peace over proving a point. The third reason is that silence becomes healing. At first, silence may feel lonely. It may feel like nobody understands. It may feel like you are carrying everything alone. But over time, silence can become a place of repair. In silence, you hear your own heart again. In silence, you begin to understand what hurt you. In silence, you stop performing for people. In silence, you stop pretending to be okay. In silence, you finally breathe. Some people heal quietly. They do not announce it. They do not explain it. They simply become more peaceful. And their silence becomes proof that they are choosing themselves. The fourth reason is that they no longer chase people. Pain teaches you what chasing does to your heart. It teaches you how exhausting it is to beg for attention. It teaches you how empty it feels to force connection. It teaches you how painful it is to love people who keep leaving. So slowly, you stop running after people. You stop asking why they changed. You stop begging them to stay. You stop trying to prove your worth. You stop holding doors open for people who already chose to leave. And this is where peace begins. Peace begins when you stop chasing what drains you. Peace begins when you choose your dignity. Peace begins when you let people go without losing yourself. Sometimes, letting go is not loss. It is freedom. The fifth reason is that they protect their peace. After too much pain, peace becomes valuable. You no longer want to waste it. You no longer want to give it to people who create confusion. You no longer want to lose yourself in arguments. You no longer want to explain your heart to unsafe people. So you start protecting your energy. You choose who gets close to you. You choose what conversations deserve your attention. You choose what problems are worth carrying. You choose what kind of love feels healthy. Protecting your peace does not mean you hate people. It means you respect yourself. It means you know your limits. And it means your heart finally matters to you too. The sixth reason is that pain teaches boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to punish others. Boundaries are doors that protect your peace. They tell people how close they can come. They tell people what behavior is not acceptable. They tell people that kindness is not permission to hurt you. Pain often teaches boundaries the hard way. It shows you what happens when you keep saying yes while your heart says no. It shows you what happens when you keep forgiving without change. It shows you what happens when you keep giving to people who only take. So you learn to say no. You learn to step back. You learn to stop explaining your limits. You learn to protect the version of you that is still healing. And every boundary becomes a small act of self-respect. The seventh reason is that they learn to let go. Letting go is not always easy. Sometimes you let go while your heart still cares. Sometimes you let go while you still miss someone. Sometimes you let go without receiving an apology. Sometimes you let go without understanding everything. But peace often begins where control ends. You cannot force people to value you. You cannot force people to understand you. You cannot force people to love you correctly. You cannot force the past to become different. So you release what keeps hurting you. You release the need for closure from people who cannot give it. You release the version of life you thought would happen. And slowly, letting go becomes the doorway to peace. The eighth reason is that they become softer with themselves. Pain can make people blame themselves. They may ask why they trusted too much. They may ask why they stayed too long. They may ask why they ignored the signs. They may ask why they gave so much. But healing begins when they stop attacking themselves. They begin to understand that they were doing their best. They begin to see that love made them hopeful. They begin to forgive the version of themselves that did not know better. They begin to speak to themselves with more kindness. They stop calling themselves weak. They stop calling themselves foolish. They stop punishing themselves for surviving. And slowly, they become the safe place they once needed from others. The ninth reason is that peace feels strange at first. When you are used to chaos, peace can feel unfamiliar. When you are used to overthinking, quiet can feel uncomfortable. When you are used to being hurt, safety can feel suspicious. When you are used to chasing, stillness can feel empty. So at first, peace may not feel exciting. It may feel strange. It may feel too quiet. It may feel like something is missing. But sometimes, what is missing is not love. What is missing is the chaos your nervous system got used to. Peace is not boring. Peace is your heart finally resting. Peace is your mind no longer fighting every day. And peace is something you learn to trust slowly. The 10th reason is that healing makes them stronger quietly. Healing does not always look loud. It does not always look like a big transformation. Sometimes, healing looks like not replying to disrespect. Sometimes, healing looks like sleeping better. Sometimes, healing looks like choosing yourself without guilt. Sometimes, healing looks like smiling again for real. Sometimes, healing looks like no longer explaining your pain to everyone. Quiet strength is powerful. It is the strength to walk away. It is the strength to begin again. It is the strength to forgive yourself. It is the strength to protect your peace. After too much pain, people do not always become harder. Sometimes they become calmer, wiser, and more peaceful. The final lesson is this. After too much pain, peace becomes everything. Peace becomes more important than being right. Peace becomes more important than being understood by everyone. Peace becomes more important than forcing relationships. Peace becomes more important than chasing people who do not choose you. You stop needing a loud life. You start wanting a calm one. You start wanting honest love. You start wanting safe people. You start wanting a quiet mind. You start wanting a heart that can finally breathe. And that is not weakness. That is healing. If pain changed you, do not hate yourself for it.